we move on to discuss the Scotland and Switzerland game finishing in a 1-1 draw. In my opinion, another brilliant game at this European Championship. Very good football, back and forth. In my opinion, I thought both teams were deserving of a point. I think both teams played one hell of a game. I think both teams created multiple opportunities that really could have given them the lead, especially near the end. You look at the Grant Hanley's header. Also, this was a Switzerland player that also had a free header near the end on a set piece opportunity. But in my opinion, I think 1-1 draw result was a little bit fair. In the first half, Switzerland were able to be a little bit more of the protagonist in terms of possession. I believe there was a period that they had almost more than 70% possession. But Scotland, they slowly built themselves back into the game. Now, Scotland were really deadly in transition. In that first half, they created a few opportunities in transition. They took advantage one, and also it was a much better start from Scotland. They looked a little bit more into it in the game from the beginning, just based on that Germany game. Scotland really struggled to get any sort of, the ball in the other half against Germany. Just really suffered. They won a corner in this game in the first minute, and so it showed the level of difference in terms of belief that they had in going forward. They were willing to put men forward, and it was beautiful to watch the fluidity to their attack. I thought they were able in transition through Robertson and his ability to push the ball forward, push the ball up the field. They were able to get the goal to give them the lead 12th minute in, and it couldn't have been a better start from Scotland, because now that they get the goal, they can be defensively very strong, and they can play through that, and it was just the perfect start from them. Now the thing, if you're for a Scotland fan, you come out of this game with a 1-1, but the two things that will massively disappoint you in this reason, for the reason why you didn't get 3 points, is number one, the goal that they gave away, which was a defensive mistake, from Ralston. I believe it was Ralston, just playing a back pass, not really looking, and playing it right into Shaqiri's pass, who scored an absolutely wonder goal. We'll describe that. I'll just go break down that goal specifically a little bit later on. But wonder goal. So that, and the fact that it was a self-inflicted mistake, that's something that Scottish fans will feel really unfortunate about. And also the second thing is they had a chance to win it at the end. Grant Hanley hits the post on an amazing ball swung in by Robertson on the set piece opportunity. It goes 2 inches to the right, 2 inches on the right side of the post. And Scotland are, getting out of that game with 3 big points, because they're probably going into that Hungary game only needing 1 point now to move on. Now they have to go into that Hungary game to win to even have a chance. But, they still saved. They still, took it to the final day. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is that you're able, in these tournaments, you got to have a chance in that final day. And Scotland gave them that chance today by getting out of that game with the result. Now I want to speak about that goal. What a brilliant goal. What an absolutely phenomenal goal. Now, Shadran Shaqiri, one of the main, the main guy for Switzerland over the past few years or so, really been their talisman. Now he's playing at MLS Chicago Fire, so we're in the winding years of his career. It's clear in regards to that, but Shadran Shaqiri, he's always been a brilliant player, and it's interesting in the fact that he didn't actually start in that first game against Hungary. So, and they played really well, and they really dominated that game against Hungary, and they played really well in my opinion. He brings Murat Yakin, brings him back into the squad in this game against Switzerland. He bring him in. They go with a little bit more of a different formation, going more with 2 up top, and they play Shaqiri right behind them. And Shaqiri pays him off by scoring an absolute wonder goal, because what a brilliant strike that was. I mean, yes, it was gifted by Ralston playing in that ball in behind, but I mean, to where he makes that run. He just has one look at the goal. Keep in mind, he's running towards the left, and his momentum is taking him away from the goal. So he's having to curl it, running away from the goal. He takes one quick little peek up to the left and just curls it. And I mean, you couldn't hand that ball and place it any more tighter up into that upper 90 than what Shedran Shaqiri played it. And he didn't even get to look while he was taking the strike. He took one quick glance to see where the goal was. Then he puts his head down and he just goes right through the ball and buries it. I can't put into words how amazing of a finish it was. And it's one of those plays where you're watching it and you're like, oh no, bad turnover by Scotland. Oh, surely he's not gonna. Oh my God, did he just? What in the world? It was that kind of finish. I was just like, wow, just an absolute banger of a goal, banger of a player. You know Shedran Shaqiri. If you know Shedran Shaqiri, he lives for these world class goals at these tournaments, at these European Championships, at these World Cup. He's always coming up big for Switzerland. He's always coming up clutch for Switzerland because that's what he is. He's a big time player, and he's not afraid in these big time moments. Came up with another big time goal to equalize for Switzerland. And yeah, in that second half, both teams had their opportunities to take the lead. It was going back and forth. You know, that I talked about that header that went off the post. There was also another header that the Swiss had, a free header that I forgot who the player was, but he honestly, I thought it was a really poor header. He should have really done better. They had their opportunities, both of the teams. And you know, I think 1-1 actually ended up being the fair result. And I said again, the massive thing for Scotland was to keep themselves alive all the way up to that match day 3. Now you're not gonna, you know, Switzerland are on 4 points, but they have a +2 goal differential, and Scotland have a -4. So even if Hungary are able to win and Switzerland are gonna lose, are they gonna be able to swing that 6 goal differential? No, because you know Scotland, they're not a team that will be able to bag 3-4 goals on a team. They just don't have that kind of personnel up front, that kind of quality, in my opinion, to be able to really put the thumping on Hungary. If they can, I think that's a 50-50 game, honestly, in my opinion. I think it's a flip of the coin to see who's favorite in that game. But I think third place is definitely on, and the fact that even despite the bad goal differential, I think if Scotland are able to win that final game against Hungary, I think 4 points will be enough to get you through. I do, because you know, now if you have 3 points, if you're a third place team and you have 3 points, okay, then you're gonna have to rely on, you know, your goal differential is gonna be very, very important. But you know, chances are more likely than not, you know, you never know till the end. You're not gonna know, but more than likely not, there's not gonna be 4 third place teams that have 4 points. So I think having 4 points will get you through more likely than not. Obviously, there could be an anomaly, and there can be like 5 teams that have 4 points, and then in that point, goal differential is going to be very important, which will not side with Scotland because of that 5-1 thumping. But more chances than not, if Scotland are able to defeat Hungary, I think they will be getting through and moving on to the next round. So that will be the mission for Scotland, obviously. Win and you're in. That has to be the mentality. Nothing less than a win. Obviously, if they do anything less than win, they're done. But win and then just hope. You know, they need that. You know, few teams to finish with 3 points, which I really see that happening. As far as Switzerland, they get a point. They came off a very impressive performance in game 1. And I thought in this game also they were pretty good. I mean, they weren't bad in this game, not necessarily. I think Scotland is actually just a better team than what they showed us in that game 1. I think this is a little bit of a slip and a little bit of a missed opportunity for Switzerland, because you're looking at it, you want to be able to go into that Germany game battling to win the group. And to be honest, though, at the same time, I don't think a draw is the biggest loss for them, because no matter if they drew or win this game 2-1, they'll still be level on points with Germany, and a draw would not have been enough in that final game, no matter what, because of the goal differential Germany because of the way that they defeated Scotland 5-1. No matter if Switzerland won or drew this game, they needed to enter that Germany game with a win to win that group. So that's the mentality for Switzerland. They have to go into that game playing to win. I don't think they should really be conservative at all, because there's no you're not gonna drop out of the top two. Unless the six, you're not gonna lose so bad that you're gonna cover a 6-goal swing between you and Scotland. So I definitely think they should go into that game with the mentality win, because winning the group, it could be very important in building some sort of pathway to make the tournament to run any sort of run that Germany or Switzerland are trying to make very easier. I think winning the group is actually very important, that people are starting to sleep on it nowadays.